Well, it's about 7 o'clock here on a work day, and I need to get this pork shoulder all ready to go for the smoker. A good friend of mine, who is a fantastic smoker as well, Dad passed away, and I want to be able to help out the family a little bit. I know how they're hurting. I've lost my own dad, and his family's been around, helped us out when my dad passed away. So sometimes it's not always easy to say some things, so I wanted to make sure we can at least keep family a little grub, and I'm sure all their visitors will be there too, on and off throughout the time. So I'm starting with this mustard base. We're gonna get this on there good and thick before we put the salt and rub on. The mustard base will give it a whole nice different tang. I always use kosher salt on everything I smoke and cook. I just like how it helps with the meat. Gives a good, nice, brings up the flavor of the meat. I'm using a rib rub, which a buddy of mine from down in Nashville sent to me. It's got a nice little kick to it. Very generous with the seasoning. We'll have to wipe these babies down. We're all set down to make sure Mama stays happy. Yeah, so we're gonna get this ready. I want this to sit in the seasoning for probably 3 or 4 hours today. Usually I'm an overnight kind of guy, but I want to make sure I get this to the family this evening, if not yet, maybe tomorrow morning right away. So I'm going to smoke this probably for about 8 hours and let it sit for rest. It's going to rest probably for a good hour, if not a couple hours, to really let this break down. So, all right, we're going to let that sit for a few hours before I put it on. All right, I'll put this bad boy on now. I got the smoker set at 225. I want this to take smoke for about 4 hours. And I'll come back. Ooh, that smell with that mustard is fantastic. Got to be here. Let it smoke at 225 for about 4 hours. I'll come back then. I'll wrap it, put it back in the tin foil to gather all the juices. Let it smoke until it gets to its temperature. You know, everybody asks me, how long do you smoke it? And it's never to me about time, it's only about temperature. So once it gets to that 190 range, even closer to 200, then I'll pull it off and I'll let it set in the cooler for a good 2 hours, so the meat relaxes, the juices flow back into the meat, and then it'll break apart like just butter. So, all right, we'll be back soon. All right, it's been on for a couple hours. Internal temp's about 120, 127. It's good. A good crust. Now, I'm gonna put it back, and I can collect the juices. I'm gonna add some brown sugar to the mix. About a full stick of butter. Let that sit there. do is I'm gonna get some tin foil and I'll wrap it all up and let it sit for another 3 or 4 hours. So this pork shoulder's been on now approximately 8 to 9 hours. My internal temp is about 203, which is great. I am going to pull this off. Let's take a little peek here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is looking great. I'll pull it off and let it cool now for the next good hour, an hour and a half before I pull it apart. Let's check that one more time. Ooh, that looks good. So this is rested a little while now. I really like how this, ooh, look at that. I think it's ready to pull apart. Wow, that smells so good. So this is probably a good internal temp, 204. So again, let it get there. Every meat will, or every cut or every roast will be a little bit different just based on the muscle texture inside the pork shoulder. But this is smelling fantastic. Pulling apart so easy. It's still steaming. So I add some brown sugar to this as well to offset some of the mustard a little bit, just get a little sweetness to it. I think we're gonna be really happy with the flavor on this. I said I had it on 225 probably for 4 hours, and I pulled it, wrapped it. Well, I should say when I pulled it off, I added the brown sugar and the butter just to add some more juice and flavor to the meat. But I wrapped once I put it back on. I've had to put it back on for another 4 to 5 hours. Got to the temp I wanted, and there we go. We have pulled pork, all the Woody's Barbecue Smoke Show. Thank you, farmers out there. After 8.5 hours at 225, the pulled pork looks and smells fantastic. We will share with friends who mourn the loss of a good man. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, farmers. Count your blessings. Have a great day.